Daniel, how you doing and what's going on?
Well, we're here in Jubilee Square Gardens, whatever it's called, and we're here to, we've set up a DemocracyAE because there are many things which aren't getting covered in the debates, which are of absolute concern to me and the wider public. So we've set up camp, and we're going to be inviting all kind of community grassroots groups down here to express themselves and to discuss, share their knowledge, and really try and inform in the build-up to the election. So that's some of our priorities, the public interest and all of that.
So obviously at the moment you're in Jubilee Square in Leicester, so what are you actually hoping to achieve in Leicester itself with the local community?
Well, really what we're hoping to do is to encourage the local community to come out and commune, and to really kind of open up our imaginations to what's going on in this country, what's going on in the world, and reflect on whether the political class is really up to the job, and actually scrutinise how politics actually works today, and whether even if we do vote, are they then going to go on to represent our will and carry out what's in the best interest of the public. You know, so we're hoping to get loads of speakers, artists, poets, and create a bit of a stir and point people in the direction of some of the harms which have been caused over the last 5 years, and specifically, you know, still there's been massive financial crime. No bankers have gone to jail as a result of their massive financial crime, so we have partial law enforcement that's going on, and then we've got the most vulnerable in our society being sanctioned, people committing suicide, people being forced back to work when they're in fragile health and it's killing them. You know, this is as much about survival than it is about politics. This is about the well-being of our communities and try getting them to express what they want and what we want. So it's not just a one-way conversation where the debate is controlled from the media, which is 80% is owned by 5 people. So it's not a tapered argument. So it's one which we can open up to much of the information and observations which we've come across.
So obviously 2015 April, and obviously we're looking at the 7th of May. There's actually national as well as local elections going on.
Yep.
But then obviously within Leicester we've also got the city mayor set up that deals with the policies directly from central government. So what can you really say about all that?
On the local level, what we're here to do is really kind of demand the re-democratisation of the council. At the moment it's led by an executive, and they have basically decision-making power on all things. So the actual councillors which get elected into the council actually have very little power in terms of voting power in order to sanction policy or distribution of funds and stuff like that. So that in itself, in Leicester, we don't actually have a democracy working. We have basically a bit of a dictatorship with a thin veil of democracy. So really we want to empower our councillors to be able to represent people on the local level and the priorities and the needs of the local communities, and because that's not happening right now. And we can illustrate that with, say, the Douglas Fader Centre, which is a daycare centre which has been running since the 60s. It had its funding cut and it closed a couple of months ago, and it's the only purpose-built building in the city for people with wheelchairs and with a mind to people who need that level of care, and it was a good place. I mean, I visited there a few times and had a good team, and there was a real kind of care for the well-being of these people, and you know, that's the measure which we should be using as a gauge to how we judge how well we're doing as a society, how well we're doing as a community. And those things are going. They're going. They're no longer a priority. We're prioritising bankers and people who've got a lot over the people who don't. And they're paying a real price in their lives in what they've got access to. As a result, you know, and it's wrong. The future of our children is in jeopardy because of the way we're being led. And it's not just issues to do with spending, it's also issues to do with other policies like energy policy as well. At the moment we've got an infrastructure project which is going to add to climate change. It's going to potentially damage our water supply, and as climate change takes its toll, you know, it means water is going to be more and more precious. So who's then going to suffer? It's going to be the same people who are suffering from fuel poverty, who are dying from fuel poverty. We're going to have people who aren't going to be able to access water. You know, I mean, these things in the next 10, 20 years are going to be real issues. So we've got to take it past this 5-year voting thing. We've got to really open up our imaginations and exchange the knowledge that we have.
So, say for instance, at the moment, the city mayor basically decides local projects across Leicester, which, you know, I think is going to actually end up happening nationally, where, you know, city mayors are going to get put into each council. And obviously across here, the city mayor basically got money from the European Union for actually doing this here.
Yeah, there was lottery. I think was it? I thought it was.
Well, no, it was a European grant of 4 million for here. But obviously, you know, why he's appealing for the 40 million here is also sort of like cutting down, you know, homeless services, is also, you know, cutting down day centres for the disabled. I mean, because obviously what was here in the process was a car park that, you know, earned the city 200,000 a year.
Exactly, and what you have is you have a very superficial activity happening on the surface in full public view. So it seems like people kind of go, oh well, they're doing something, they're doing X, Y, and Z, where the real things which were created because they were a necessity for the community. Were built and were funded because they were needed, and now they're not less needed now. There's still a need for them, but that's not the rationale which we're working towards anymore. We're working towards how do we make rich people richer, and as long as we continue to do that, we're going to continue to see harm done to the wider community and the future of our young.
Right, we've also got Millie here, who's part of the occupation. So why are you here, Millie?
I'm here because I'm extremely concerned that our politicians, both locally, nationally and European, even worldwide, the United Nations, don't represent the issues that humanity faces. There's a worldwide food crisis upon us. We're in the age of the water wars, you know, with public drinking water. We live in the plastic age. Everything is polluted. And yet a space like this is created where there's not a single bit of colour, flowers, you know, that attract bees or butterflies or birds. It's a public space that's basically, well, still public, but, you know, verging on the corporate, on the private. It's all sanitised. It's not a livable space, and it could very easily be a space where food and plants and colour, that improves air quality, that improves, you know, people's understanding of what inner cities need to look like. We need green roofs, we need all kinds of policies put in place to face the water and the food crisis.
So obviously we've set up camp here, and it's DemocracyAE, as you can see. So what are you actually hoping to be able to do here, and what sort of people are you aiming to attract, and also be able to allow as a platform for other groups and things?
Well, really, we hope to be visited or joined by anybody who's active in their community, who's got issues, who represent homeless people, job seekers, people on sanctions, people with mental health issues, anybody who's active in the community who may have solutions as to how we can build a better world, what we can all achieve if we, start working together and start planning and developing our communities together, and just stop waiting for politicians, start doing it yourself. Democracy is not a spectator sport, it's a contact sport, and people need to get stuck in and shape their own futures for the sake of their kids.
Right, thank you very much, Millie. Alright, I'll show you around. Evening, Alan.
Hiya.
How are you? Why are you here?
I'm here because I'm sick and tired of watching corporate interests and an ideology of corporatism steamroll over democratic rights and the welfare and well-being of people. I'm seeing a geopolitical situation where corporatism is just running rampant. It's taking control of public services, it's taking control over people's lives in an undue manner, and it's time we make a stand. It's time we let politicians know that we're not going to put up with the bullshit anymore. We're not going to put up with their lies and their half-truths and their statistics. And, we are actually engaged. We're awake, we're aware, and we're engaged, and we want change. We want significant change, we want profound change, and we want them to take a brave stand against corporatism, against the rise of corporatism. I'm also here to save public services in this country, to try and save the NHS in this country, which I think is a crucial service for the future. And I'm here to show solidarity to all the people that are being oppressed at the moment, all the people that are being downtrodden, all the underclass that the government just seem to think they can pick on because they're weak and they won't fight back. We're here to let people know that if you want to come and voice your concerns, if you want to come and explore alternative ideas, come down. This is a crisis centre for democracy, and together we can probably heal it, or at least go some way towards finding a way to healing it.
That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, Alan.
Peace and love.
Right, so obviously we've got the tent here with the Red Cross on. So show that we're like a medical centre, one of the tents. Some of the signs here. That's one of the most important parts at the moment across the UK, because the amount of homeless as well as food banks. There's another tent. And we'll come across here. 3 megabonds. How you doing? At the minute we're still actually putting a lot of stuff together, so there's still bits and bats here. There's going to be a geodome. Another tent, another one, and this is another area. But obviously we're there. Right, we'll fill you in again soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.